What's up, people? In the previous day of the Blitz tournament in Croatia, Firouzja scored 8 points of 9 and looked like he's going to win the tournament. But in the last day of Blitz, Abdusattorov started to play very good, and Firouzja lost many games in a row. So they reached tiebreaks. They tied in the first position after 18 Blitz and 9 Rapids, and they tied in the first position. So in this video, I'm going to show 2 victories who helped Abdusattorov to reach the tiebreaks, and the last final victory of Firouzja who helped him to reach the tiebreaks after a horrible day. But okay, let's start with this game between Abdusattorov and Ivan Saric. Okay, Saric goes for the for knight defense in the Sicilian. Here, knight takes c6 followed by e5 is the main move. Knight b5 is another popular move, but Abdusattorov goes for bishop b4. This line gains so much popularity in 2023 because Fabiano Caruana employed that to beat Abasov in the World Cup. Okay, this is the game between Firouzja and between Caruana and Abasov, who made the line very popular. Okay, this is very tricky because White is giving the a4 pawn, but White is going to capture the a8 rook, and the game turned very complicated. But here, after 2 inaccurate moves, especially queen f6 inaccurate move by Abasov. Here, Caruana reaches a winning endgame with extra exchange, and he finally converts. But okay, after bishop f4, of course, bishop b4 is the sharpest move, but Ivan Saric decided to play d6. Here, knight db5 transposed to the pelican with e5, but Abdusattorov have a different idea with bishop b5, bishop d7, knight c6, and here Saric recapture with the bishop. It's a little bit strange because capture with the pawn, winning a tempo against the bishop looks more natural just because you are winning a tempo, especially bishop a4 and now e5, winning another tempo against the bishop. This could be a better line maybe for black. Instead of that, Saric capture with the bishop, which is not my favorite move. Queen d3 by Abdu. He wants to go long castle, of course. He has some idea with queen g3. He's defending the bishop, defending the pawn, so very logical move, of course. a6, bishop takes, long castle. Now I think that White is slightly better because he has more development. It's true that Black have more central pawns, but the development and maybe the plan of h4, h5 is going to be slightly better for White. d5 and now h4, great move. Because Black is going to go short castle in this position. Black king cannot be in the center or cannot go long castle, so we are just preparing that when Black goes short castle, we're going to be so close to give checkmate. Okay, bishop e7, h5, still pushing. Now, okay, he had queen g3, slightly better, but king b1 by Abdusattorov was a perfect move, very logical. And now h6 was slightly better. For example, g4, queen e5, but white is better. The problem of queen b6 played by Saric is that after queen g3, d4, and here great move by Abdusattorov, bishop h6. Here White is simply winning because okay, White is threatening queen takes d7, and if knight e8, he can capture. Knight takes, and now h6, taking back the piece and opening the black king. The machine likes this move here, knight a4, just keeping all the tension. For example, if queen a5, rook d4, and there are all the threats in the air, and if queen e7, bishop h6. But okay, like bishop h6 here for a blitz is a great move to win the game. So yeah, Abdusattorov won the game very easy. Okay, later I'm going to show the rest, but I think that the mistake first mistake of Saric came here with a6. No, first here with capture with the bishop. I think that this move is a little bit weak because it's strange that in this type of Sicilian, White reaches a completely winning position in just 15 moves. So here I prefer capture with this pawn. But now it's incredible that just pushing this pawn, White have more development. It's true that okay, Black have the center, but White have more development, and he completely crushes Ivan Saric in just 15 moves. Now okay, I'm going to show the rest of the game, but was more or less easy for Abdusattorov. Now okay, the black king is very exposed. Bishop f6, knight a4, and now he captures here. And now he defends the knight with b3. The machine says that it's not necessary. He just played rook h4 and now rook g4. But okay, b3 for a blitz is fine. And now after rook h4, threatening rook g4, h5 is necessary because White is threatening rook g4. And now I really like this move, just avoiding all the counterplay. Black have no breakthroughs. So I really like this knight move. King here, now rook h1. Black is taking on h5, so black try to open the position, trying to create something, and he sacrifices chains, but this simply doesn't work. And after this trades, white is going to enter in a king segment with 2 extra pawns, who of course is very easy to convert. So here Ivan Saric resigned. So okay, this was a great game by Abdusattorov. Now I'm going to show another victory of him in the last day. This one against Anis Giri, a better player than Saric, but okay, Abdusattorov won a great game too. So okay, here we have the face of Giri, and let's see the game. Okay, Giri decides to go more solid as Saric, playing e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, and the marshal with bishop b6, knight f6, sword castle, and here bishop b7. That's the main position. Here two main moves are or d3, the close, going for a close position, or rook e1, who is the principal move, but he captured on c6. There are many games too. Yeah, the idea is play with knight against bishops, and black have these double pawns. Sorry, after the takes c6, black have these double pawns, and maybe white one day can play d4 and try to create a pawn majority in the king side, something like that. But okay, d3 is normal move, bishop d6, but okay, till here everything is completely normal. But Abdusattorov start to make a strange move, and he makes a horrible plan, who makes that Giri get a completely winning position from the opening. In this game, Abdusattorov play knight c3. It's a little bit strange. Normal moves used to be or knight d2. This is a common line, or just d4 directly. But the knight on c3, because I prefer the knight here, because can land on c4 maybe. One day can go to f3. So knight c3 here is a little bit strange. Bishop c3, bishop e3, h6, and now okay, h3 is acceptable. I prefer d4 going forward, but okay, h3 is normal because knight g4 is coming one day, queen e7. But here Abdusattorov make a very strange move, just h3, going very slow, and mix these two pawns, h3 and h3. I don't like that. I think that you are going very slow here. It would be better just break the center with d4, or just break directly. But the problem of play h3 and then h3 is that first you are going very slow, and you have the white pieces, and you are playing very slow. But the other problem is that you can play positional here, because black have a clear plan to attack your king, who is goes on castle and push g5, g4. So with white you can play at this pace. You should go faster. So now long castle, b4, but just d5, and black is coming faster. Black have 4 pawns defending the king side, so, and this bishop, so looks like white is going to have some troubles to open the black queen side, and black is coming with g4, opening everything. So yeah, horrible opening by Abdusattorov, but okay, let's see how he managed to turn back the game. Knight d2 by Abdu, preventing g4, of course. Giri just placed the rook on g8. The other rook could be possible. For example, this could be a normal line. But okay, he played rook h8, it's completely normal. g4, and now h5, of course, breaking the position. f3, and Abdusattorov tries to still keep the position solid. And here, Giri had a very typical plan in this type of positions, where the knight is on f6 in the king's double pawn, and these pawns advance to g4, g5, and they make this type of plans. Here the knight should go to g6 to reach the f4 square. So here knight h7 is the best move, going for f8, g6, and then jumping to f4 or to h4. That's the correct move of the position, just improve the position of the knight. Instead of that, Anis Giri play rook g6, which is not the best. Knight d2 and rook h8. Let's see that he lost 2 tempos to place the rooks, one on g8 and the other one on h8. For that reason, it's slightly better here to place directly the rook on g8. Of course, here white is not going to play g4, because with the rook on h8 have no really sense, but we are looking that was better to place the rook here. But okay, rook g8, h5, f3. Okay, rook g6, trying to gain with the other rook to the attack. Knight e2, rook h8, knight g3. Here, Giri made another strange move. He goes with queen f8. Maybe he wants to play queen h6 and try to attack here and leave this check off the knight, but just capture on g4, followed by rook here. Looks more natural, of course. If knight f5, okay, we capture and black is close to be winning it there. And rook f2 with defensive move, just knight d7. But I like to have these two rooks here in an open file, of course. It's not winning yet, but it's the most natural continuation. Queen f8 is a little bit strange. Because, okay, Abdusattorov is starting to consolidate his position a little bit. Now, okay, he tried a pair of rooks. So Abdu is more or less managing to, yes, to defend the position. Not completely equal, but okay, more or less he's solid. But okay, here Giri trying to enter in the position made an interesting move. Was bishop takes g4. According to the machine, it's not the best, but I think that this is the best move in a practical game, especially for a blitz. So great move by Yanis Giri, pawn capture. Here knight g4 was he played knight g4. Sorry, queen h3 was slightly better. King f2, knight g4, and this position opening the bishop. But okay, knight g4 directly was fine. King f3, and here strange move by not strange, but knight takes c3, who is the natural move, was more logical. Again, trying to play the same game, but okay, I understand that he doesn't want to trade queens, and he make a okay interesting decision, but doesn't work in this case. But okay, he plays f5 with the idea of e4, trying to open this bishop. Okay, it's acceptable. It's a logical idea. Knight here, knight a2. The problem is that okay, it's true that you are opening your bishop, but the knight on e4 defends great the king. Knight a2, and here the decisive mistake of the game. Here, queen h5 was the best move. He played queen h4, but after knight g3, white consolidate everything. The idea of the queen here is that the knight cannot land here, because queen f3. So after queen h4, knight g3, just white consolidate position, and Abdusattorov win with the extra piece. So here Yanis Giri resigned. Great performance by Abdusattorov in the second day of Blitz. And now I'm going to show not the full game, but a moment of the game between Gukesh and Firouzja, because Firouzja was losing all the games in the second day of the Blitz, and he lost 5 games with the black pieces, and in his 6th and last game with the black pieces, when Abdusattorov was 1 point ahead of him, he saved a crazy game against the world champion. Okay, I'm going to show the full game. Why not? Okay, they play a Sicilian, and Gukesh goes for this solid line, good for blitz, bishop e2, playing with the king safe. It's true that black have the king safe too. But okay, they reach this position where here Gukesh made a positional mistake. He played bishop d2, allowing this change in the pawn structure, because this looks like benefit black, because now black have a pawn majority in the king side, and the pawn majority in the queen side of white is blockaded. So bishop d2 here was a positional mistake by Gukesh. Every move who not allow knight takes c3 is fine. But okay, and here Firouzja makes another strange mistake, just playing queen e5 to defend a pawn. I prefer to defend the pawns with another pawns, and then f5 is coming. And here the game have many positional mistakes, tactical mistakes. Basically, both players play a bad positional game. Here, for example, Firouzja should play or just king h8, who is very natural to play f5, or just this typical maneuver with bishop d8, bishop b6 to activate the bishop. f5 here doesn't work, or rook e8, so that's the rook e5, so that's the idea of king h8. Avoid this tactic. But f6, very strange move by Firouzja. This pawn should go to f5. And okay, finally Gukesh reached a winning position here. I really like queen e3 to play queen b6. I like this maneuver by Gukesh, because the queenside pawns are very weak, and he believes that he can take all of them. And this is what happened in the game. And here Gukesh had a completely winning position, and if Firouzja loses his 6th game with the black pieces of the day, he's going to have no chances to can reach the tiebreaks or win the tournament, and Abdusattorov could be the winner of the tournament. But Gukesh cannot find the correct move. Okay, when white have many winning moves, but rook d6, I think that is the easiest one, just defending the d7 pawn, attacking the bishop. And now, okay, white could have some plans like bishop g5 to attack the rook. And now maybe, yes, bishop e6, bishop e5. It's clear, or bishop e3, bishop b6. It's clear that here white is completely winning after rook d6. But Gukesh get completely crazy, and he plays bishop g5. Always with tactics, but the tactic this time doesn't work. Just necessary to make the normal move instead of make a strange tactic without timing the clock. And here black has two solutions to solve the game. One is rook takes d7. Okay, the idea of Gukesh was rook c8 and bishop b5, but black can defend with king f7, giving back the exchange. But black has the bishop pair and two extra pawns. One extra pawn, but this doesn't really count. So the game is more or less balanced here. And the solution of Firouzja, who was fine too, just f2, and now bishop g4, great move, threatening checkmate on h3, king g2, f4, attacking this pawn and threatening f3, bishop h3. He should capture, and now bishop d7, and Gukesh lost the d7 pawn, and the Gukesh initiative, of course, is over. But okay, the game is still being equal. Rook c7 could be a normal move to defend the game. You should keep an eye on this move with the bishop, of course. So that's the idea of, and this should be a draw. That's the idea of rook c7. Then who should be a draw. Instead of that, he played rook a6. Okay, it's true that he's keeping an eye on bishop c6, but Firouzja here found another way to promote this pawn, or rook c8. Sorry, rook c8 winning the game, because now he's threatening to capture on c4 and to play bishop h3. So, and for example, if you play something like that, now this is coming. So okay, not the best game by Firouzja, but at least he managed to beat Gukesh and reach the tiebreaks against Abdusattorov. I'm going to make another video showing the decisive game of the tiebreaks, so let's see the video. Bye bye.